You notice it again tonight. That quiet moment before sleep, when your mind starts replaying the conversation from earlier. Every word, every possible interpretation, what you should have said, what they might have meant. And then the spiral begins, branching into tomorrow, next week, what it all says about you. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, wondering why your thoughts won't rest. That's what this is about, the hidden psychology of overthinking, why your brain does this, what it's really trying to protect, and how to gently work with it instead of fighting yourself. The lived experience, you know the pattern. A minor decision, replying to a message, choosing what to wear for an important meeting, suddenly expands into exhaustive analysis. Hours pass, energy drains, you feel exhausted before anything even happens. It shows up in relationships too. One uncertain look from someone you care about and your mind writes entire stories about rejection, abandonment, or your own unworthiness. Decisions get delayed, opportunities slip by while you search for perfect certainty that never arrives. Inside, your self-talk turns sharp but familiar. Why can't you just relax? What's wrong with you? It chips away at your identity. You start seeing yourself as the overthinker, someone broken who can't quiet their mind. This isn't random. It's a pattern rooted in how your brain tries to solve uncertainty and treat the reframe you are not broken. Overthinking is often an adaptation, an intelligent but outdated strategy your mind developed to keep you safe. For many, it grew from environments where mistakes carried real emotional or social costs. Your brain learned, analyze everything, predict every outcome, stay vigilant. It was trying to protect you. The problem isn't that you think too much. It's that the thinking has become decoupled from useful action. It loops without resolution. The psychological mechanism here is what's happening in your brain. When you overthink, the default mode network, DMN, the brain's autopilot for self-referential thinking, becomes hyperactive. This network handles memory, future planning, and imagining scenarios. In moderation, it's beautiful. It helps you reflect and create. But in overthinking, it gets stuck in a loop with the amygdala, your emotional alarm system. Imagine your mind as a vast library. The DMN is the librarian who keeps pulling books about past mistakes and possible futures off the shelves, cross-referencing them endlessly. The amygdala stands nearby, ringing a quiet bell every time something feels uncertain, danger. Pay attention. The executive control areas, prefrontal cortex, that should say, enough, grow tired or get overridden. Mental model, think of it like a smoke detector that's overly sensitive. It's not malfunctioning out of malice. It was calibrated in a house that once had many fires. Now it goes off when you burn toast. The alarm feels real every time. This creates the result you know: mental fatigue, decision paralysis, and a quieter but persistent sense of unease. A practical framework: you can't force the mind to stop thinking, but you can change its relationship to thoughts. Here are 4 psychologically grounded steps. 1. Name it neutrally. When the spiral starts, quietly say to yourself, "This is overthinking," or rumination pattern. Why it works: this activates metacognitive awareness, observing your thinking rather than being lost in it. It creates a tiny bit of psychological distance, engaging different brain networks and weakening the emotional grip. Real-life example: you're replaying a work conversation. Instead of diving deeper, you note, mind is doing the replay loop again. The intensity often drops within moments. Point 2. Schedule a contained worry window. Set aside 15 to 20 minutes each day, maybe 5 p.m., for deliberate thinking about concerns. Outside that window, gently postpone, "I'll think about this then." Why it works: your brain learns that thoughts will be addressed, reducing the urgency to ruminate now. It respects the mind's need for processing while building better boundaries. Real-life example: anxious thoughts about finances arise at 10 a.m. You say, "Noted, we'll sit with this at 5. By evening, many feel less overwhelming. Point 3. Anchor to the body and present moment. When you catch the loop, shift attention to physical sensation, feet on the floor, breath moving, or the feeling of your hands. 5 slow breaths. Why it works: this down-regulates the DMN and amygdala by activating sensory processing and the parasympathetic nervous system. It interrupts the abstract thought cycle with concrete input. Real-life example: walking to the kitchen while spiraling about tomorrow. You pause, Feel the floor under your feet, notice the temperature of the air. The mental volume lowers. Point 4. Shift from, why, to small, what next? Instead of asking, why do I always do this? Ask, what's one small useful action I can take? Why it works. This moves activity from pure rumination toward problem-solving circuits, giving the prefrontal cortex a productive job and creating behavioral momentum. Real-life example, overthinking a social interaction. You write one short message or decide on one boundary to practice next time. Integration. Picture your mind not as something to silence, but as a deep river. Overthinking is like trying to dam the water. It builds pressure. These steps are more like learning to swim with the current, acknowledging the flow, guiding it gently, staying present in your body. The pattern doesn't vanish overnight. But each time you meet it with curiosity instead of judgment, you strengthen new pathways. Your brain is remarkably plastic. You don't need to become someone who never thinks deeply. You only need to stop being someone who drowns in it. The quiet truth is this: your mind's tendency to look closely is also what allows you to feel life deeply, to care, to create meaning. The same sensitivity that causes pain can become the source of your greatest clarity, once you learn to hold it with kinder hands. Sleep well tonight. The thoughts may come, but you don't have to follow them everywhere. One last thought to carry with you: thoughts are weather. I am the sky.